Hey guys, hope you're going well. So I'm here in a new location. I actually relocated from Los Angeles. I'm now living in Sydney, Australia. So it's been a bit of a crazy past week. I moved here. I had to live in a backpackers or like a youth hostel and try and search for a place to live. But I'm here now. I found a really great place that I'm really happy with, and this is my new room. I haven't really figured out what's kind of gonna go on with the room yet, but it probably looks pretty empty back here. That's because everything is over there. Yeah, I haven't really sorted anything out. You might be able to see like the corner of my bed in the camera, I think. Yeah, it's like a mattress is on the floor, like the whole bed and everything's over there, but I haven't yet set it up. So it's a whole thing. Anyway, it is the end of August and I wanted to share with you some things I've been watching this month. These aren't really things I've been seeing at the cinema. These are things like that I've seen elsewhere, or things that I'm rewatching for the second time, or like TV shows. I like to see like old classics here and there, foreign movies, just like all the other like bits and bobs that I haven't really been able to share elsewhere on my channel. So the flight from Los Angeles to Sydney is just under 14 hours and I did manage to watch a couple of movies on those tiny little airplane screens. So I watched Divergent, which came out earlier this year but I had missed at the cinema, so it was good to like finally catch up and see it. It stars Shailene Woodley as the lead character Trist, and also the gorgeous English actor Theo James, who I hadn't seen anything before, but he was like so ridiculously good looking. I really wasn't expecting a lot because I had just previously seen The Giver, which is kind of in a similar vein of story. It's like they're both science fiction, they're both adapted from young adult literature turned into kind of action movies, really targeted at that kind of young adult market. The Giver, I felt like it had those nice like philosophical kind of like themes of like what does it mean to be a human, but it just kind of really didn't translate for me. I felt like it was kind of bland and the drama kind of just fell a little bit flat, whereas with Divergent they incorporated a lot more of an action sort of thriller running into it. So in Divergent the society is divided into factions and everybody must fit into one of these factions, and you take up your place, and as long as you do your job, this is the cogs in the society's wheels turn and everything, you know, there's law and order and harmony and everything kind of works. Well, to be divergent means that you don't actually fit into one of these main factions in the society, so you're an outcast essentially and you don't belong. Everything might seem like peace and harmony on the surface, but you just dig a little bit deeper and you find that there's a bloodthirsty dictatorship going on, chasing sequences and like lots of action as they're like running through like trying to overthrow the government. And yeah, I think it's a really like fun kind of packaged ride, whereas The Giver I just think went a different direction. Basically I'm saying that if I had to choose between The Giver and Divergent, which have like similar types of science fiction futuristic themes, I would pick Divergent because I really liked it. Earlier this month I saw the indie movie Joe, which I really wanted to see. Again, this is another movie that I actually missed when it came out in theaters, but I wanted to see it because people kept talking about like how it was like a return to Nicolas Cage's roots, like that he did like such a wonderful job as an actor in this, and like no more of that kind of shitty like lame like action, mindless, brainless action. So Nicolas Cage plays the main role Joe, who is like an ex-con, but he has like a heart of gold, I guess. He has a really straight moral compass. He knows what's right and what's wrong, even though he might sometimes choose to do the wrong things, and he's got a surly attitude and like a drinking problem, and it's a really good role for him. Like I absolutely agree with what everyone was saying. So this 15-year-old boy is at like a very pivotal time, coming of age type of his life, and he comes from a broken home where his father at home is an abusive alcoholic, and his mother and sister are very oppressed and don't speak up or stand up for themselves or for him, so he's very much abused and has kind of a bit like a lost sheep. It's not like Joe like takes him under his wing, but the boy kind of just finds a way to like make Joe his role model, and they have this kind of back and forth relationship that's really like sweet and heartwarming, even though Joe like exhibits like a lot of tough love. At the, you know, underneath it all, like he really does care for him, and it's a really great little movie. It reminds me of other like similar movies also set in America's South, things like Winter's Bone, and also the movie Mud from last year, which was like one of my top movies of last year. I loved Mud. And actually, funnily enough, this boy, Ty Sheridan, also was one of the main boys in Mud. I Saw the Devil is a Korean revenge movie, which was recommended to me by one of my awesome subscribers, Blu-ray Hoarder. He saw that last month I saw some movies from the Vengeance trilogy, which is from Chan-wook Park, who did Sympathy for Lady Vengeance, Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, and also my like favorite Korean movie of all time, which is Old Boy. I Saw the Devil is from 2010, so it only came out a couple of years ago, but I hadn't actually heard of it before. But it stars one of the same actors from Old Boy, Min-sik Choi, who in Old Boy he is the underdog and the victim, whereas here in I Saw the Devil he is the aggressor, the instigator, and the perpetrator. This movie is all kinds of like psychologically messed up. What happens when our protagonist, who's a detective trying to track down this serial killer, what happens when he starts doing these, like committing these crimes himself in order to catch the serial killer? So where is that line drawn in the sand, and when does he cross it, and when does he start becoming a murderer just in the same way? It really does concentrate on these two central characters who kind of, even though they are at opposing ends of the spectrum, in this really weird and really clever way, they kind of are the same person. And this movie was super crazy and fucked with my mind, and I really loved it. Do you guys remember the movie Twister? 1996 with Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt. I used to like love that movie so much. So Twister was my rewatch for this month, and I did not even know that Philip Seymour Hoffman plays like a supporting character in the movie. And I was like, oh my god, it's Philip Seymour Hoffman. It was like really like weird. Like, I don't know if you've ever like looked back at an old movie and like seen an actor that you know from the present, but you'd never realized he was in that old movie. I think it's aged really well, as in like it doesn't look super like outdated, and the special effects actually hold up really well as well. Like, I've got to say, it didn't look like tacky and old and like, you know, like lame or anything like that. I think that it's just like, it's really stood the test of time. Okay, the sun is going down. I'm just gonna mention one more movie, and that is a classic movie that I saw called To Have and Have Not. You know how to whistle, don't you? You just put your lips together and blow. That was my Lauren Bacall impression. She is adorable in this film. So she actually passed away this month, which is the reason that I wanted to see this movie. It was her first on-screen appearance, and it was kind of like the first movie that kind of catapulted her career. It's her and Humphrey Bogart. It's where they met, and then they later got married. In this movie, she is like so sassy, like husky voiced, chain smoker. She is like an absolute like vixen. I don't know, she is so adorable to watch, and the two of them in this movie, the chemistry that they have is so like it's like they have like this disdain for each other that's kind of covering up their true feelings of like passion and the chemistry between them, but they're constantly both trying to suppress it and put on this kind of like, I don't know, like half-hearted, like uninterested exterior. It's based on a Ernest Hemingway novel, and the movie is set in Montanique, which I believe is some sort of region, some place in France. I'm not really sure, but it's set during World War II. So there there's a lot of things going around the outside with like Nazi occupied Germany with the war, but this little province of Martinique where Humphrey Bogart is working as a fisherman, usually movies that are set in the times of war, especially World War I, World War II, or whatever, it's kind of like they focus like directly on the war and its direct effects, whereas this is kind of like the next layer out of that. It's kind of just, yeah, like how people that are not directly in the war are kind of just trying to get by and just day to day go about their everyday like normal lives. The Big Sleep, the movie that the two of them went on to do next after this movie, is what I want to watch next, because seeing them on screen together is just really awesome, and this is a great classic movie that's kind of a little bit more underrated, I feel, but I really enjoyed it. There were other things that I saw this month, but there were just a few. I'm glad I got to kind of reel them out for you and share them with you. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you wanted to see a little bit about why I moved from Los Angeles to Sydney, or if you wanted to see like the actual journey, like my last day in LA and my arrival in Sydney, I did a couple of like little vlogs that are here on my channel, so I'll link those down below if you're interested in seeing them maybe. And apart from that, I'm going to get back on track with watching stuff, with uploading a little bit more regularly. So yeah, leave me comments down below of what you've been watching this month, if you've seen any of the movies that I've mentioned, what other recommendations you have. I really love recommendations. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel to keep up to date with like my other movie reviews and stuff, and I'll talk to you guys very soon. Bye!